Okay, so for today's recipe, I'm gonna be using the help of my Echo Show from Amazon. Sometimes we all need a little help in the kitchen, and this does just the trick for me. Hey Alexa, how do you make baked mac and cheese?
Okay, for baked mac and cheese, here's a few recipes.
Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm partnering up with my friends at Amazon Home to share with you guys 3 of my go-to recipes for the holidays for my family. You guys, I love mac and cheese. I have to admit it, and I'm super excited to show you how I make mine. So what I like to do is cook maybe about 3 to 4 cups of dry macaroni. I like to cook that al dente, so usually anywhere between 5 to 6 minutes, no more than that. You want to cook that in about 6 quarts of water, and once you get it al dente, you're going to drain it, and then we're going to get to cooking it. But for me, what I want to share with you guys is that I love using cheddar cheese. Cheddar is just probably one of my favorite cheeses. It's so good. I like to do it shredded. Now I'll buy the pre-shredded stuff, or I like to shred it myself using, of course, a grater. And then of course I'm gonna use some butter. I'm gonna use some whole milk, a little bit of flour, because I'm gonna make a roux with some butter and milk and flour and a little bit of smoked paprika, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then we're gonna get this baby in the oven. Okay, so like I mentioned to you guys, I love using cheddar cheese. This is the pre-shredded stuff, but I like to buy a block of white cheddar and shred it myself. So I'm using this grater, which I love because it has like a little cup kind of container at the end, and it'll just catch everything. And I just like to grate my cheese. And you wanna grate your cheese cold, because when your cheese is soft, it's really hard to grate. All right, so we're just gonna put the shredded stuff in there, put that to the side for a little later when we make the roux. So I like to mix my cheddars. Some like it sharp, I like to get a medium. I like the mix of taste, and plus the kids don't like it when it's too sharp. So I really love making sure that I put my mac and cheese in a ceramic pan whenever I bake it. It always just looks so nice. I got this one from Amazon Home, and I think it looks so beautiful. It's so clean. It looks beautiful on your dinner table, whether it's just, you know, you and another loved one, or if you have some relatives over for the family. I love it. It's just absolutely beautiful. So once your noodles are done cooking, you'll definitely want to strain them, get them off of the stove, and then we're going to make a quick roux and then get all the cheese and goodness on there before we put it in the oven. Okay, so next up we're going to make a roux with a little bit of milk, cheese, flour, and some seasoning. I like to use onion powder, a little bit of paprika, salt, and pepper. All right, so we've got our pot, the same pot we cooked the pasta in, on medium-high heat. So we are going to add half a stick of butter and let that melt. We want to get that nice and melted in there before we add our milk and flour. So then we're going to add 2 cups of milk to this. You want that to bubble up before you add your flour and add your cheese. I am about to add some onion powder and some smoked paprika, which I think just makes such a big difference in the flavor. I'm probably adding about a teaspoon of each. And I'm gonna add that along with 3 tablespoons of flour. 2 and 3. That is going to be so nice. And you want to let this heat up until it's just going to, you don't want to let it boil. You want it to get it right before it boils. And then you can gauge whether or not you want to add anything else to it. While that is starting to cook up, I'm going to add some salt and pepper. So it's about to slightly boil. So we're going to add our salt and pepper. I'm just adding half a teaspoon of each, because you'll get the rest of your flavor from that awesome cheddar. I'm going to add just 1 more tablespoon of flour just to thicken this up a little bit. I'm adding about half a cup of the medium cheddar and half a cup of the sharp cheddar. And this will be the last step of your roux before you add your pasta. Oh, and it's starting to get nice and creamy. And once you feel like that cheese has melted and come to a really good stopping point where it's creamy, then that's when you want to add the rest of your pasta. And again, you want to eyeball it. You want to make sure it's to your creaminess and to the consistency that you like. Okay, so once you add your pasta, you want to stir it because you want your pasta to be completely covered by the roux, because that is what is going to hold your mac and cheese together. And don't be afraid to add more ingredients, again, if you feel like it needs to be added. I'm going to add a little bit more cheese so there's a lot more creaminess, and then we're going to get this in the pan. Okay, so what we're doing now is bringing some of the pasta on here. I'm going to do about half, and then I'm going to layer it with a layer of cheese. So spread that out. And that roux smells so good. And again, it's a mix of cheddars. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you like the sharp stuff, fine. If you like the medium or even mild, that's fine too. But I love when I cut into my mac and cheese and you can see that cheesiness. That is always exciting. So then we're going to get the rest of the mac and cheese. All right. We are going to sprinkle this all over. I love a super cheesy mac and cheese. Okay, you guys, we're all done with the cheese, the roux, the seasoning. We are going to put this in the oven probably for anywhere between, I don't know, I like to eyeball it, but for me it's usually anywhere between like 35 to 45 minutes, and we'll check on it because we want to make sure that the cheese gets perfectly melted. We're going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees. Okay, let's get this dish in the oven. All right, so the mac and cheese is out of the oven. We've let it sit now for about 10-15 minutes. You definitely don't want to cut into it when it's piping hot, but you definitely don't want to let it get completely cold. So we are about to cut into this thing and see how it tastes. Get a corner piece because then it's a little bit crunchy, which I like. Right. Ooh, look at that. Okay, let's taste this thing, see how it came out. Perfect. Super cheesy, seasoned, how I like it. 5 stars, would recommend. All right, you guys, that does it for this recipe. I will be sharing all the details over on my blog, and I will be linking to everything that I used here today that I got from Amazon Home, including this amazing ceramic pan, this spatula and the whole set, and even these amazing white plates, which are good for mac and cheese apparently. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.